then we start discussing like dividing it up to like 4 equal or semi-equal
and
parcels.
I've spoken with Janelle, and because there's woods on our section on the 3 lots that we've got, I said, do you want to do a appraisal, or are you happy with your 4 acres and Mary and I splitting the other 6 acres?
Hi friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. You know, there's nothing more aggravating to me than watching people get screwed over on reality shows or just in general and taken advantage of because of their either naivete or their ignorance about a given situation. And there's been a lot of times on Sister Wives that it really gets me going because it's very clear to me that there are certain women in the family that are very ignorant to the workings and the dealings of the finances. And when you put your trust and faith into someone that's narcissistic and jerky like Cody, you're never going to get the truth. And what bothered me the most about everything that happened in this most recent episode is the fact that every single one of the people, other than Mary, was kind of misleading Mary about what her responsibility was for this property. In fact, they were expecting Mary to help them pay off property, and she did when she was under no legal obligation to do so. And the same people used Mary's property as collateral for the rest of the property, even though Mary never signed a document allowing this. It's honestly the weirdest thing I've ever seen, but let's dive into it. Cody and Robin have Mary over because they're going to pay off Coyote Pass. And during the discussion, Cody talks with Mary about the property, and Mary is trying to figure out how many acres she is going to get. The issue with Coyote Pass is that it is not a one chunk of land, it is 4 separate parcels. Each parcel has its own individual title, with each parcel being assigned to specific people in the family. Certain parcels of this were paid off and paid for in cash. In fact, the problem with what these family members are doing on the show is that everything that they are discussing is viewable as a public record. And the property that Mary paid for in 2018 was paid in cash. Mary was never on a single loan for Coyote Pass, and she was under no obligation to pay anyone for anything for the remainder of the property. When they signed a agreement, they signed it with the seller, who was using a LLC called Who LLC based out of Scottsdale. And they purchased this for $180,000. It was a cash purchase. Janelle, Mary, and Cody all signed onto a parcel that had around 4 to 5 acres. Mary did not sign the purchase agreement. Her name is not signed at all, but she's on the warranty deed and she's not on any loans. So Mary was not required to pay for anything. Now, 2 parcels were paid for in cash. One had the name of Mary Brown on it, along with Janelle and Cody, and the other was Cody and Robin and Christine. Christine nor Mary were on any loans for this property and had no legal obligation to pay anything. This was why Christine was able to walk away, because she was not on the hook to pay off any loans. In 2018, Who LLC filed 2 Universal Commercial Code liens against the property, and the names on these loans and liens were Janelle Brown and Cody Brown on one, and Robin Brown and Cody Brown on another. Money due for these was around $142,000 each for each parcel. They owed about $280,290 total. When these loans were released, the property was released to Janelle. a full reconveyance of the title was released, and it was placed in the name and released to Cody and Janelle. Mary paid off property. She gave them 1/4 of that was due. And when that property was released, she received none of the rewards. So she ended up putting in more money into property that she's not going to get out, because now they want to screw her and only give her 3 acres. When the land was purchased, Mary's parcel was paid in cash, and the parcel that was Christine was on was paid in cash. One parcel cost $300,000 and another cost $180,000. The 2 UCC loans were actually not 144 or 142. They were 147,200 each. So the total balance due, which was the balloon payment, was $294,400. There were only 3 people under the legal records that were required to make that payment. And Janelle, Cody, and Robin. Mary had no obligation to give them any money. And yet, on the day that they paid this off, Mary handed over to them $73,600. She gave them $73,600 to pay off a property that she had no claim to, that she had no responsibility for, because her parcel was paid. She already was walking into a situation where Cody was intending to not give her fair share, and then she gives more money to them because she was under the impression by them that she was responsible for this payment as well, not because she knew she had to pay. She wasn't on any of these loans. And then again, once they were released, she didn't get the titles for these properties. Her title was already clear. But how she was manipulated into paying them for this was because when they decided to take out these loans, they couldn't qualify for traditional financing. They weren't able to go to a bank and get a land loan because no bank would have loaned them money for this land because they were already so overextended. They didn't have the bandwidth to take on any more debt. They were all homeowners of homes in Vegas. Cody was spread thin. He was on multiple mortgages. He was on mortgages with Mary, mortgages with Robin, and mortgages with Christine. And so they took land that Mary helped pay for and pay off, the $180,000, and that's weaponized against her and used as collateral. So if Mary doesn't pony up 1/4 of this and they can't come up with the cash, she would have lost her entire investment because they used her property as collateral. I don't understand how this was ever done. This entire deal just stinks like foul. I don't know how it was ever even legal. I mean, the only way it was done this way is because it was with a private entity and not with a bank. Because if this would have been with a bank, they would have never been able to do this to Mary because she would have had to approve it. She would have had to sign records and say, yes, you can use my parcel as collateral for your loan. In what other world would you ever hand over your property as collateral or your joint property as collateral for someone else to take a loan out against it? It's insanity to me. But after that's all said and done and they pay off the lot, Cody is then going to try to scam her out of her fair share and claim that she's only going to get 3 acres. And he's going to say it's because she's on a wooded lot instead of a cleared lot, and that because of it, her parcel is more valuable. And that's just not even true. There's nobody that can decide what the value of that property is without an appraisal. And Cody is trying to con her into this without an appraisal because he's trying to convince her that because she has wood on her parcel, trees, it's more valuable. Listen, I don't think Janelle is the person that is leading this screwing over. In fact, I think she's trying to do everything not to get Mary screwed over. I think this is all Cody. And if you have ever purchased land or had to shop for land, you will learn that wooded lots are actually cheaper than unwooded cleared lots. All of the property that was on Coyote Pass more than likely had trees on it because it's in a tree line and it's on the outskirts of a national forest. The lots that don't have trees were likely already cleared. If you've cleared a lot, that lot is more expensive because the buyer doesn't have to spend the money getting the lot ready to put a house on it. Wooded lots are not that fun. In fact, my husband and I were looking at lots back in 2013. We ended up buying a lot in a subdivision. There was a lot that was available that was in the woods. It was super cute. We were thinking about doing it, and it was less expensive. But when we actually looked at the overall cost it would take to clear, it was going to add tens of thousands of dollars on top of the build. So not only do you pay so you pay less for the property, so it's not doesn't have the value that Cody thinks it has. And then you have to spend tens of thousands of dollars to remove those trees. That doesn't actually increase the value of your home. It's just an added cost to build. And so people that buy property often are not inclined to buy heavily wooded property because of the cost it takes to clear. And a simple Google search will show you that it's more expensive to buy a cleared lot than it is a wooded lot. But the cost to own the lot and maintain the lot is going to be more expensive for the wooded lot. Cody's idea is likely that, well, you can just clear the wood and sell it, which not all the wood that's in those lots will be salvageable to sell. And then you have to have a buyer. It's not as easy as he thinks. And so ultimately, he's trying to convince her that because there's trees, she's going to get more money out of it. And she's not. She's going to have a harder time selling the property. It's going to have a lower value because because it has trees on it, and it's going to be more expensive for the next buyer to build. And if she wants to build and he gives her a wooded lot, it's going to cost her more to build than it will for, say, Janelle if she were to ever build. And none of them are going to build, by the way. And what kind of bothers me about Janelle is that she's satisfied. And this is exactly what she did with when it was in pertaining to Christine and Mary. When they were all talking about this years ago, she was fine with getting 5 acres while no one else got the same amount of acres as long as she could have greenhouses. She was fine that other people got less acreage than her because she got what she wanted. And if she wants to be fair, she shouldn't be okay with 4 acres. She shouldn't, because it's like 14 point, I don't know, 5 or 7 acres total. So if she gets 4, she's getting more than what she's due. And if Mary only gets 3, she's getting less. Not to mention the proposed lot division isn't even how the lot is parceled. The lot division that Cody wants to do is untenable because of the way that this lot has easements for oil. There's an oil line on there. And then there are wells and other infrastructure that's already built into some of these properties, and easements already built into these properties, where just because it looks like it's 2 acres and that seems large, there's not a lot of places to put houses. And then you have to clear a ton of trees just to place a house. It's just not fair. And them acting like she's going to build, like Robin's like, oh, we're all going to build together and Mary can build a house here. Why on earth would Mary build a house in Flagstaff when she has no ties to Flagstaff? This is a moment in time where Mary's naivete and ignorance about the finances is used against her. And this is a time where Cody is trying to screw her based on that naivete and ignorance. And then on top of that, it just frustrates me that Janelle, who says she cares about Mary, would be okay taking more. I would never be okay taking more than what's mine in a situation where everyone contributed. I personally would never ethically, morally feel okay with taking more than what is due to me. And Janelle is not due 4 acres. She's not. Just like Mary's not due 3. Each one of them is due the same. And what they should do is just sell this property, all of it, at the same time, find one buyer if they can, to a developer, and then split the proceeds 4 ways. That would be the most fair way to do all of this. Cody's proposed subdivision that he wants to do with 5 lots will never happen because there's a minimum amount of acres that have to be done within this county, and it's not a good setup, and it won't increase the amount that they get for the acreage. He's only doing this because he's greedy and he just wants his name on more than 4. He wants his name on 5. What I think is more and more clear to me throughout this season as we're watching this, and I know some of you aren't even watching it, is that people that you think are your family, that are supposed to have your best interest at heart and are supposed to care about your long-term success and your happiness and your future and your nest egg, sometimes are not those people. Wolves in sheep's clothing can be in your family, and they can be abusing you without you even realizing it, and preying on your ignorance, vulnerability, and naivete, and then gaslighting you and tricking you into doing things that you would never do normally, and leaving your whole life unbalanced and discombobulated because you don't know what to believe and you can't look up from down and left from right. And then you spend so much of your life in fight or flight mode, which is survival mode. And that means everything's heightened and you're on your defenses all the time. And the more I watch, just the more I realize how evil Cody is. I've known he's evil and I knew he was nasty and cruel, but just the amount of calculation that he does to intentionally hurt people and inflict pain on people just to benefit his own needs and wants is just so disheartening to me and sad. And I just every single person that's involved with him, even Robin, doesn't deserve this. Again, I'm not a fan of Robin, but she was in this scene trying to be reasonable with Cody and saying, "Yes, we should do a appraisal, Cody. No, it shouldn't be that way. We need to be fair." Like if Cody didn't have Robin, I don't think he would be fair in any way. If he didn't have anyone holding him accountable, he would do whatever he wants. So I don't know. I don't know how this is going to play out, but it pissed me off. And it irritates me that the documents are not being shared so that you can see how much she's getting screwed here and how much Cody's being a vindictive a-hole here, and just how overwhelmingly this is just one long money con against Mary. It's awful. So, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. You guys, we're getting close to 400,000 subscribers. I only need 6,000 more, and I would love for you to help. And I know there's a lot of you that are subscribed or that watch every day and haven't subscribed. It's totally free. Just hit it below. Click the notification bell so you never miss a video. And as always, let me know what your thoughts are. I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, everyone.